So I'm continuing with software development lifecycle. So the software development lifecycle is a set of steps that helps in the creation of what? Software programs. So I'm going to emphasize more on these steps. So step number 1, planning. So in the planning process, this involves getting to know what the target is. That is what the business getting to know what the target is and brainstorming ideas on how to solve such a problem. Step 2 is requirements gathering. So this involves interacting with the stakeholder so that you get to know what the stakeholder requires or what the stakeholder wants the app or the program to do. So you interact with the stakeholder and get to know all about the project. That is, you collect valuable information about the project. The third step is designing. So that designing is basically creating the architecture or how the program should look like or how it should work when it has been completed. So from my written report here, the design phase models the way software applications will work. So the design phase is just creating the architecture of how it will look when it has been completed. So the development is done by a team or an individual through building the software using a computer language such as C++, Java, among others. Then we move to the testing stage. So the testing stage usually involves evaluating the quality of the software. That is, we try to find out whether it has errors and fixing those defects. That is also known as debugging. So the team test the product of their programming to see whether the program has defects or has errors which can be fixed before deployment, so that anyone who will be using this software will not face any challenge when using it. Then we move to another stage called the deployment. So with the deployment, they prepare the software to be ready to be used. So the deployment is just a stage also known as launching the software. So the software is made known. That is, it can either be put on the company. For example, if it's creating a software for a company, it can be put on a company's platform or the company's website, so that anybody who wants to access the software can just access and download the software or the app through the company's website. Or it can be a general modelization of the whole company's database. Then we move to the last step, which is known as the maintenance. So the maintenance involves updating and supporting the software after it has been delivered to the market or after it has been deployed. So the maintenance stage is where the people who created the software are made to constantly update or make changes or correct defects which have come up during the process of using it. The next topic for discussion is the Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things describes physical objects with sensors, processing ability, and other technology that connect and exchange data with other devices and systems over the internet or other connectivities. So basically, the Internet of Things helps devices to communicate with each other. So for example, you are in a house where you have your electric bills, your thermostat, your air conditioning. So with the help of Internet of Things, maybe by installing an app on your mobile device, you can be able to connect to these devices, these home devices such as the thermostats, the air conditioners, the refrigerators, or the door alarm systems. So you're able to connect with it and through maybe the internet or Wi-Fi or other connectivities. So you connect with it and you can be able to access those home appliances using your mobile phone. So for example, your air conditioning. For example, you forgot to turn off your air conditioning before you went to work. So the Internet of Things helps you to be able to remotely off your air conditioners or the thermostats. So for example, the thermostat like this, it's able to So for example, the thermostat. So the thermostat, due to the effect of the Internet of Things, the thermostat can be able to tell whether to change the conditions of a room. So for example, the room is cold. So the thermostat, with the sensors and the processing ability of the thermostat, it is able to detect that the room is cold and it's able to adjust the temperature to suit the person living in it. So the Internet of Things basically have, 4 parts. So one is the devices. So we can talk of, as I've mentioned, the thermostat and your mobile device, or the air conditioners and your mobile device. So the first among the Internet of Things is devices. That is the devices that will be connected. And the second is the data sharing. So when these devices are receive data, or when using the sensors or their processing abilities, they're able to receive data. They're able to process this data and communicate it among themselves, share it among themselves. So the third is the analyzation stage. So when this data is shared, or when these devices receive such data, they're able to analyze it and the final stage, which is that the desired effect. So they're able to analyze it to give the desired effect. So for example, the thermostat, the sensors the thermostat will help it to be able to determine the room temperature. And because of the Internet of Things, or the effects of the Internet of Things, it will be able to communicate, or the sensors will be able to help it tell that the room temperature is maybe cold or warm, so it may be able to adjust to the right temperature that the user wants. Good afternoon. I'm coming to begin my report with programming. So programming is a set of instructions that tells the computer how to perform a certain task. So we have different programming languages that are used in programming. So for example, we have the JavaScript, we have the Node.js, we have C++, we have Python, among others. So these programming languages sometimes make it easier for programmers to write codes. So in a sense that some of these programming languages have embedded systems that help you. For example, you want to write something like, so for example, you want to write a simple HTML code. So using, for example, the code block, immediately you type doctor, the program, like the app, gives you suggestions at once. So it helps make programming easier.